Welcome to the Top Gun Show. Today we have what I would call a good friend of mine, because I have a lot of experience with, Craig Marshall, who's a senior channel manager at TPX. He's got customers and sales partners all over the globe, right? Pretty much?
For sure.
Yeah.
Been at it a long time.
Yeah,
A lot of people out there I support.
He also happens, I mean, when I was at Top Speed Data, I started this thing called Channel Manager of the Year, and I'd put out a vote to the 35 or so sales agents and let them write in who they thought their favorite channel manager was, based on, like, if you had the most important, sales call of your life, who would you want to take out? And Craig's won it 2 of the last 3 years. So
that's a big honor. It's good to be loved.
Yeah, it's great. Well, you've earned it, man. Yeah. You've earned it. So why don't you talk a little bit about, because you have an interesting background. It's very rare. Because talk a little bit about briefly your background and how you ended up at TPX.
Sure. In the late 90s, 20 years ago, I was a Nextel rep selling the Nextel mobile phones, and not very technologically advanced, but certainly seeing decision makers. And during .com, 2000, 2001, I worked for a wireless software company that kind of moved me over to the technology side. And then PacWest Telecom, in 2001 through 2004, I became a channel manager. So PacWest out of Stockton, and that's actually when I got to know Top Speed Data much prior to
me. Yeah, right.
And then about 2004, Telepacific came knocking and said they'd like to interview me. They had known of me and met with Ken Bisnoff and Hillary Gatta and got hired on to Telepacific. Look at that, I now say TPX.
Yeah.
It's taken a long time. Yeah. Got hired on in 2004 and have been here ever since as a channel manager located in Northern California.
Well, when I met you, when I got to Top Speed about 5 years ago, like, you were like the circuit guy.
Yeah.
Like, you knew everything about anything to do with a circuit or an installation or whatever like that. So I consider you to be the poster boy for pivoting from being all things circuit to now I've seen you in the trenches being all things managed services. So if anybody thinks it's too hard, it's too difficult, or I can't learn, the managed services side of the business, look at Craig Marshall, because I see him now to be the managed services guy, not the circuit guy. So incredible transition.
Thank you. It was definitely a pivot, and I'll be the first to admit I'm a late adopter. You've got your technology curve, early adopters, everybody. I'm
right.
Always late. I'm skeptical. And so it's taken me 2 to 3 years now, as we became from Telepacific selling data networks and voice and internet services to now MSP services. I've gained good traction here in the last 12 to 18 months, more 12 to 6 months, really gaining good traction.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to do that pivot and to learn the language and to help my agent partners learn the language too.
Right. He's definitely the Barry Bonds of the sales team. I mean, if you need a home run, without the steroids, you need a home run, this guy will come through. Yeah.
I've been at TPX now for 15 and a half years.
Yeah.
It's been very fortunate, right place, right time, but you make your own luck in sales.
Well, and in this industry too, probably more than any other industry I've been in, channel managers jump ship and go to, a bigger dollar over here, or, a green field over there. It's always greener over there. And, you've been you're, again, poster boy, consistency.
Yeah, thank you. I've never been tempted. Certainly you get the recruiter calls or what have you, and I have been successful at Telepacific since day 2, let's say.
Yeah.
And even in this big pivot that Telepacific TPX now has made, it's taken a little bit of time, but I'm very successful again, and we're in the best position.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have discussion about how we're positioned to be successful for customers.
So if you're a sales partner out there and you have great relationships, and you've sold circuits all your life or most of your life or whatever, you have those relationships, but you're a little bit afraid of how to get to stage 1 or stage 2 in conversations of MSP kind of conversations, bring Craig in, because he knows how to do that. He's trained well on that.
Yeah, thank you. We can bring the resource to the table. Like you said, if you've got a customer you've got a strong relationship with, let us bring TPX resource to bear to that customer, not as a sales call, as an informational call. Did you know that there's a lot more to firewall, there's a lot more to endpoint management, there's a lot more to backup and recovery than a simple box that you've had for 4 years. Technology's moved at rapid pace, and us as a managed service provider, we've got all the top technology on our back end that we can provide Very cost effectively too.
Right, right. Well, Craig, you know that we always close the show. You're a big fan of the Top Gun show, so we always close the show with something personal, but not too personal. There are millions and millions of people watching this right now. What's a little known fact about Craig Marshall that would surprise us?
So in college, live in Sacramento, went to Sac State University, and I was a water ski team person, slalom, jump, and trick skiing.
Seriously?
In the late 80s.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Like with one ski,
Yeah, slalom course, trick skiing, doing spins and stuff. And
rooster tail, the
off
whole
the
thing.
jump ramp. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful rooster tail.
Yeah. Well,
Good looking stuff.
you know, we'll get some pictures. We'll get pictures and post that soon.
I have some classic photos.
All right, man. Thanks for being on the show.
You bet.
And thanks for watching.